My mom didn't lower her voice. She didn't blink. She simply looked across the dinner table and said, "We used your college savings for your sister's treatment." No apology. No hesitation. Maya smiled like it was some inside joke I'd eventually grow into. "You'll understand someday." My dad quietly rearranged the silverware as if the metal could distract him. I felt the room tilt, but I didn't cry. I didn't ask why. I set my glass down carefully and said one word that sliced through the silence. "Refund." And that was the moment everything hidden in our family, every secret, every unspoken imbalance, cracked wide open. Before I go on, are you still with me? My name is Arya, and for most of my life, I believed our quiet little suburb was a shield. Neat lawns, friendly neighbors, calm streets. Place where family meant protection. Where promises lasted. But sometimes you live inside an idea for so long, you don't notice the cracks until the whole foundation splits beneath you. In our house, those cracks always started with Maya. She was 10 years older, the golden child. Front row photos on every wall. Trophies polished like museum pieces. Every decision in the house quietly bending toward whatever made her life easier. I was the kid in the background of those memories, the one told, "Let your sister go first. You're young, you can wait." Eventually, I stopped waiting to be noticed and simply stepped back before anyone asked. Mom called it balance. Dad called it keeping the peace. I called it normal. Until I got old enough to realize normal shouldn't feel like disappearing. By the time I graduated high school, I had one thing that was supposed to be mine. My college fund. My parents talked about it for years. How they'd saved bit by bit. How they wanted me to have opportunities they never had. Even when money got tight, they insisted it was safe. I held on to that promise like it was a doorway out of the shadow I'd grown up in. Life didn't go the way I planned. I took a small office job downtown, saving every dollar so I could reapply to college after a year off. Every morning I'd walk to the bus, coffee cooling in my hand, whispering to myself, "This is temporary. You're building your future." What I didn't know was that my future had already been spent. Looking back, maybe I should have seen the signs. Mom avoiding money conversations. Dad changing the subject whenever tuition came up. Maya bragging about trying again without ever mentioning the cost. The people you love can look you in the eyes for years and still hide the very thing that will break you. So when my mom finally said the words at that dinner table, the shock wasn't that they had used the money. It was how easily they did it. That night, I stayed awake replaying everything. Mom's calm tone, Maya's practiced smile. Dad folding into silence like he'd rehearsed disappearing. The next day, during lunch at work, I opened my online banking. The screen loaded and my stomach dropped. My college account was empty. Zero. Completely drained. Then something worse. A sharp drop in my credit score. A loan listed under my name. A loan I had never taken. Someone used my information. Someone who assumed I would never check. That night, I approached my mom gently, hoping there was some mistake. "Mom, did you and Dad take anything in my name?" Without looking at me fully, she said, "Arya, don't start this again. We did what we had to for Maya." "For Maya," I repeated, forcing my voice to stay steady. "She's been struggling," Mom snapped. This was her chance to be a mother. Families support each other. The same line Maya had used. The same entitlement. A thin wire inside me quietly snapped. "This wasn't support," I said. "This was my future." Maya walked in right then, holding a mug of tea. She didn't even bother pretending. "Oh, stop acting like a victim," she said. "You're young. You can start over. Some things matter more than school." The way she said it, like my life was a storage drawer she could pull from whenever she needed something. That was when the truth hit me. This wasn't an accident. This was a pattern. System. Voice. If I didn't stop it now, it would never stop. The next few days felt like walking through fog. At home, at work, at night. The empty account and the fraudulent loan followed me everywhere. Finally, something inside me shifted. Fog cleared. Clarity arrived. I pulled out my laptop and gathered everything. Every bank statement, every payment record, every piece of proof. This wasn't support. This was extraction. Someone had used information only family would have. Mail I handed to my mom, documents my dad asked for just in case. Trust one gave without question. The walls of my apartment felt too small. I stepped outside until the air steadied me. The next morning I showed my credit report to my friend Lena. She looked at me horrified. Aria, this wasn't a mistake. I know, I whispered. And I'm done letting it happen. That afternoon, I drove to my parents' house. They barely looked at me when I entered. I set a folder on the table. What's this? Mask. Proof, I said, of everything I never agreed to. For once, silence filled the room and stayed. I told them, meet me at the clinic tomorrow. All of you. The clinic. The sky was gray, heavy, quiet, like the world was waiting. One by one they arrived. Maya first, chin high. Her husband, Mark, avoiding everyone's eyes. Mom and Dad walking close but not together. Inside the consultation room, Maya sighed impatiently. I still don't understand why we're here. You will, I said. Dr. Patel entered, calm, composed, direct. We're here because there seems to be confusion, she said. Confusion? Maya smiled. My family is just misunderstand. The doctor gently cut in. Maya, when you came to us, we discussed the root of the fertility challenges. Your test results were healthy. The difficulty wasn't yours. Silence. Mom froze. Dad looked like he'd been punched. Mark went rigid. The doctor continued calmly. You insisted the treatments be presented as your issue, not his. That was your request. Maya shot up from her chair. You're violating my priva. No, Dr. Patel said kindly. I'm clarifying choices you already discussed in front of us. I leaned forward. So the college fund wasn't used because you were struggling. It was used to protect your pride. Maya's voice trembled. I just wanted a chance at a family. What's so wrong with that? Nothing, I said softly. But taking my future wasn't your right. Mom looked between us. Guilt finally showing. Mark whispered. Maya, this went too far. I placed the folder on the table. This is everything tied to my name. Loans, payments, my drained account. I'm not here to yell. I'm here to return responsibility to where it belongs. Mom whispered. We'll fix it. We'll handle the loan. We'll. I know, I said. Because from today forward, I'm not carrying it. Understood. I'm done being the one who can wait. Any debt in my name gets handled legally. Any financial tie between us ends now. Maya's voice cracked. So that's it. You think you're better than us. No, I said gently. I just finally think I'm enough. I walked out. The air outside felt cold, clean, like a brand new beginning. Afterward, they called. I didn't answer. Dad finally texted. We're taking care of the loan. Not an apology but an admission. Mark wrote a quiet, heartfelt message owning his part. It surprised me more than anything. I moved to a small apartment with sunlight across the floor every morning. Place that was mine. Lena visited one evening and said, You look lighter. I feel lighter, I told her. For the first time, the ache inside me felt like healing, not breaking. As I submitted my first college application, a quiet truth settled over me. I wasn't the background character in my own family anymore. I was choosing myself. I used to think protecting family meant sacrificing your future. Now I know the truth. Protecting yourself isn't betrayal. It's survival. Walking out of that clinic wasn't the end. It was the first step into my own life. Submitting those applications. That was my refund. Not in dollars. In dignity. In direction. In taking back what was stolen and making it mine again. If my story touches something you've lived through. If you've ever had to choose yourself for the first time. Tell me where you're listening from. Share your story. And subscribe so you don't miss what comes next.